Goedemiddag allemaal. Welkom op de Hollandse paviljoen. We zijn trots met de mooie stand die we hebben kunnen bouwen dit jaar. Geweldig, ziet er prachtig uit. Ik hoop dat jullie het ook allemaal zo ervaren. We hebben een mooi programma vandaag. Tine van Herikhuizen en ik zullen wat toevoegen. Maar we hebben een mooi programma waarbij we onderwerpen over onze huidige technologische ontwikkelingen binnen Nederland kunnen neerzetten. Met een mooie twink straks naar de SDG's. En daar ook leuke, interessante onderwerpen op pakken. Maar die konden we wel separaat even aan.
Zeker. And also welcome for our English native neighbors, because we also invited the French neighbors, and we are going to start 1 hour about connecting the impact in the Netherlands. And we are very honored to have our first guest here, who I'd like to introduce. Is that okay?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Welcome, Frits. Frits Grotehuis.
Thank you.
Dutch Digital Delta. Maybe you can introduce yourself the best. I have heard a lot of things about Dutch Digital Delta. You have a great ambition. You're a part of the program tomorrow. You will show the world what the Netherlands has into on the agenda for the next couple of years. Very happy to have you here. We start 15 minutes later. That's because of the Spanish siesta, so that's all belongs to our program here in Barcelona. A lot of people here. Thank you. Very welcome here. A lot of people at the back because we are live streaming. We have a bar there, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Frits Grotehuis. I'm the director of the Dutch top sector ICT, also called Team Dutch Digital Delta. And I'm very glad that I've been invited here to have this presentation about the Team Dutch Digital Delta. But before I get into the presentation, I would like to have a very short poll among you. Who of you, please raise your hand, is from the Netherlands? And that's quite many. And how many of you are from outside of Europe? Yes. And Spain? All right, so I have a good spread, I think. And then one more question, and then I will get started. Who of you represents a business or a small or medium-sized enterprise? About a third, I guess. And who of you represents a university or knowledge institute? No one. And then the governmental organizations? And otherwise. All right. Thanks for that. I wanted to take you to introduce you the Team Dutch Digital Delta with a small video. But I'm afraid that that appears not to work. But that's when you talk about an ICT congress, then sometimes you have some ICT issues. So then I will skip the short video and I will continue with what we do as a Dutch top sector ICT. So in the Netherlands, the Ministry of Economic Affairs has a so-called innovation policy. And part of the innovation policy are different top sectors, amongst others the top sector ICT. And why do we have an innovation policy in the Netherlands? To stimulate the economy and to strengthen the economic structure. And that also brings us to the top sector ICT, or Team Dutch Digital Delta. So what we see is that digitalization is really transforming our society at a really fast pace. What we also see is that the Dutch landscape of ICT is relatively fragmented. And that's where the Team Dutch Digital Delta comes in place. And it also brings me to the mission that we have defined. So what we do as a Team Dutch Digital Delta is that we identify, we prioritize and we organize ICT research and innovation in the Netherlands. And we do that by developing so-called ecosystems. We do that by developing public-private partnerships consisting of SMEs, business, universities, applied universities, but also together with different governmental organizations, also at the regional level. And that's twofold. On the one hand, we focus on so-called societal challenges, and on the other hand, as a top sector ICT, we focus on so-called key enabling technologies. And I will come back to that in a moment.
Shall I try?
Oh. Even kijken. All right, so next to that we stimulate ICT research and innovation, we have 3 more activities as Team Dutch Digital Delta. We also work on the development of human capital, very important nowadays, and worldwide I guess, that's not only in the Netherlands. We furthermore stimulate internationalization, that's also why we are here today at the Mobile World Congress. And thirdly, we work on knowledge dissemination, so we really try to emphasize also the dissemination of knowledge based on research and innovation. So that's about the vision and the mission. Then getting back to societal challenges on the one hand, and then afterwards getting back to the key enabling technologies. So within this innovation policy from the Ministry of Economic Affairs, there are 4 prioritized societal challenges. And you can read it also on the screen. It's about the energy transition, it's about healthcare and well-being, it's about security, safety, and it's about agriculture, water and food. And then what does ICT have to do with that? Well, I think everything. And to give you some brief examples concerning the energy transition, think of smart grids. And think of, for instance, blockchain technology that enables decentralized networks and that enables how to deal with these smart networks. Artificial intelligence, for instance, helps in optimizing, bringing together demand and supply of energy. Another example concerning agriculture, water and food is about smart farming, smart irrigation, for instance, or precision farming. Concerning health care and well-being, think of cybersecurity and the security of your personal data as patients, very important. But again, also artificial intelligence plays an important role in health. Think about early diagnosis of diseases, but also on the other hand of cure and care, about treatment and personalized treatment that gets better and better based on artificial intelligence and deep learning. Then concerning security and safety as a 4th prioritized societal challenge, we see that future network services plays a very important role. And that's about reliable, robust, trustworthy, but also sovereign networks. Digital autonomy is very important, and especially nowadays, I think. So that's basically about the 4 challenges that we work on as a team Dutch Digital Delta. And as you might have heard already in the examples that I gave concerning the societal challenges, you also see here the 5 key technologies that we focus on as a top sector ICT. And that you heard me talking about AI, about future network services, cybersecurity, blockchain technology, and big data. And big data is of course fueling artificial intelligence and algorithms. What you also see on this on the screen is about the ecosystems that we have been building upon these key technologies. So for instance, on the left upper side, common to data, is the ecosystem on big data. Over 60 projects we have been developing over the past years on ICT research and innovation on big data. For instance, on the right hand side, the Dutch AI Coalition, over 200 partners are involved right now, varying from universities to multinational companies to small medium-sized enterprises, working together. In the coming years, a couple of hundreds of million euros will be invested in AI research and innovation. And it also counts for blockchain, where we have a variety of different kinds of use cases, and we also work together at the European, on the European level, of course. Think about self-sovereign identity and those kind of issues. You need to discuss these matters on the European playing field. Cybersecurity is one of our more recent key enabling technologies that we work on, and we're also building a community. And then finally, but certainly last but not least, is about future network services. And that's also the main topic of this session, I guess. And the Dutch organization TNO, Knowledge Institute, is our lead partner in developing the ecosystem around future network services. And what do we do then as a team Dutch Digital Delta? Well, on the one hand, we support the TNO in developing an ecosystem of future network services. So the 3 Dutch technical universities are involved right now next to several telecom operators like KPN, like VodafoneZiggo. On the other hand, we also supported this ecosystem to develop a position paper, and in this position paper the current knowledge is being described on future network services. But at the same time, It's about the challenges of today, but especially of tomorrow. So in that way, we try to stimulate these key enabling technologies as a team Dutch Digital Delta. So why specifically Future Network Services, which is one of our more recent technologies that we really support and try to stimulate it further. As I mentioned already, digitalization really transforms our society and has a huge impact, and it will only increase the coming years. So it's threefold that a strong need for new communication infrastructures is getting more and more prominent. So on the one hand, we see an increasing demand on data capacity, and that has of course to do with exponential growth of big data in itself, so that also requires strong and large data capacity to deal with that. We see varying application areas. I will also come up with some examples for you. And we see an increasing demand on reliability of networks, on digital sovereignty, on robustness, on safety. So that makes that we really think as a team Dutch Digital Delta that this is very important to stimulate further for the Netherlands. But also beyond the Netherlands. For instance, tomorrow morning there's a session of the European Network of Future Network Services. And then some small illustrations on applications of these new communication networks. Think about logistics, autonomous driving, autonomous transport. Concerning health and well-being, think about cure and care also at home, for instance, on a distance. Agriculture, we talk about smart irrigation as illustrations. And in energy, one might think of predictive maintenance. And we have a project running, one of our projects in the northern part of the Netherlands, in Groningen, near the coastline. And there's a lot of wind, you can imagine, and rain, unfortunately, as well. It's not so good as Barcelona. But anyway, we really need good and strong networks, and also 5G, that's what we're talking about here, to be able to have predictive maintenance for the blades of these wind turbines, just as an example. So I hope that these kinds of illustrations help you to understand why, as a team Dutch Digital Delta, we stimulate this key technology specifically. That also brings me to the end of my presentation already. So in case you have any questions or remarks, please feel free to address me or Thijs Koops, also in the audience, our international liaison. And if you would be interested to join the network or one of our ecosystems, please also feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. One last question?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If you look at the Netherlands, for example, how we have these big issues like artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity. How are we doing this in the Netherlands? Comparing the European landscape, are we still have a lot to do, or are we already
We're such a small
performing
country.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah, relevant question. And on the one hand, so it's actually there are different questions. So yes, there's really a lot to do with each other, and that's also why we prioritize these key technologies as the top sector ICT in the Netherlands. So that's one. Secondly, in relation to other European countries, I think we're doing relatively well, but there's still way to do. And it's not about competition within Europe. I think we should really try to cooperate. And I also mentioned about blockchain technology, for instance. We really have a lot of use cases where we work together via our own ministries with other countries within Europe, but also about standards and self-sovereign identity specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
thank you very much.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So-
thank you.
One applause. I think that's a great angle to the tech line of these days,
Yeah.
building a strong digital society together. We're such a small country. We belong to one of the strongest innovative countries of the world, and I think that's because we are good in public-private partnerships, cooperation. So feel free, reach out to our partners and see if there is something to do and to speed up. In the meanwhile, my co-presentator is looking to a movie. The next speaker, he's in the Netherlands at the moment, from TNO, the Netherlands, and they are working on future network services also, and he's going to tell us more about it.
Exactly. So we try to start a clip and we go on with future network services. Is not. Let's have a look.
I think he has to speak a little bit louder.
Yeah. All right. So.
Je hebt hem al gezien ook, hè, deze.
Thank you. That was a little bit hard to hear. The video is on our website, MWC.nl. So if you are interested to learn more about the whole story, I can advise you to go to the website and to watch it again. Now we are going back to the audience here. We are very honored that there are two visitors from the Netherlands, two very young Dutch ladies, Liz Engelbert and Esmee Ruiter. Can you come over?
I gave you the headset. You can introduce yourself. Now we're taking over a little bit direction to the SDGs. And one of the things of the SDGs is, of course, our Dutch innovations, which will help us gaining these SDGs. So I will hand over to...
Okay, I will take over in the meanwhile, and then you get mine. The two ladies, you were driving here, you were flying to Madrid,
Yes.
and then driving from Madrid to Barcelona with a car, a very special one. You're going to tell us more about it.
Indeed.
And I think you're here the next couple of days in Barcelona.
That's right. But we'll tell a little bit more about it in the presentation, about where we are and where you can find us.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having us today. Indeed, we're from Lightyear. It's a solar car from the Netherlands. Can I see who already knows Lightyear in this crowd? Okay, that's quite a good number. I would like to start with raising a short question for you. Picture for yourself, how long would it take for the sun to shine to provide the entire annual usage of humanity? So for all the humans, all the air conditioning, all the electricity, all the households. What do you think? Well, let me tell you, it's 2 minutes. And this probably changes a lot about how you think about energy and about solar energy. And every hour, 430 quintillion joules of energy hit the Earth. That's 430 with 18 zeros. And this is something that we want to use in the future of mobility. Now I want to shortly let you show this short clip about our mission and our progress. I hope that it would work. Else I also have it on YouTube.
Had je ook de link gestuurd via YouTube?
Ja.
In de mail?
Ja.
Should I help or?
Video hier is.
Ik had hem ook via de mail gestuurd naar...
Ik zit op een andere web.
Oh, oké. Oh, kan je ook naar internet of niet? En dan YouTube.
Technical problems at the connectivity fair. Yeah. There you go. So let's go back now to the other one. So this movie showed a bit about what we're about as a company and what we want to achieve. It's already a year old. It says 120 people. Currently we are already with 400. And why we do this is because we want to work together for a purpose, to tackle climate change and to ensure a better future for tomorrow. Because the price of inaction already outstrips the upfront price of action. So that's why we want to do something. But as a world, we are not moving fast enough. Of all the 1.5 billion cars in the world, 98% is still fossil fuel cars. Imagine if you have to transition all those fossil fuel cars to electric cars, then you would also need 1.5 billion chargers. So what we're doing is building the charger in the car on the place where you need the energy. And we are doing this, we're called Lightyear, because our mission in the end is to transition the 9.5 trillion kilometers, which is 1 light year, of fossil fuel cars driving today in the world to electric and to solar mobility. Because current cars are not scalable. There's a high energy usage which requires fast chargers and a lot of infrastructure, while in countries like Spain there's not a lot of infrastructure yet. And the adoption rate of this is quite slow actually, so that's why a lot of people still don't drive electric. And the energy input is often not renewable and therefore also not sustainable. But then these guys came along. So these are the Solar Challenge racers. You probably saw them on the news one time or somewhere else. And they did the famous 3,000 kilometer challenge across Australia. So it's from Darwin to Adelaide. There's one turn in the entire way to the right, so it's quite a straightforward road. But still, there's a lot of competition, teams from MIT and a lot of other universities joining. But the Netherlands won 4 times, the team from TU Eindhoven. So they thought, we really have to do something with this. We really have something in our hands that we can commercialize and make the world a better place with. So, in the end, the problem we want to solve is the one of ICE cars. There are a few problems in here that I shortly want to point to. The first is range. So you probably know about range anxiety. A lot of people don't want to buy an electric car because they are afraid that they will strand like next to the road. The purchase price is often too high for people to buy one, and charging costs a lot of time. So these are just problems that are hindering the transition into a better mobility standards. So how are we going to solve these problems is what my colleague Esme will explain.
Yeah, that's why we are actually building the car. So what we want to do is not have the infrastructure everywhere, but we want to have the infrastructure on the car, the solar roof. In this way, we don't even need the grid anymore. So you don't need all those charging poles and all this charging facility. It's just like a telephone cell. You don't need it anymore when there is mobile facilities. And then we can really make cars that are electric scalable, which is our mission. If you have a really efficient car, which Lightyear is, lightweight, very aerodynamic, then you don't need a lot of power to drive for a long range. Therefore, our key focus in the company is efficiency. Every little step and every little decision is made to make the car as efficient as possible. This results in a small battery, which is lighter again and also better for environment. It's a total new concept, having this solar energy on the car. And therefore, you get your energy yourself. What we're doing now is building the brand with our exclusive model, which is also in Spain at the moment. We're building prototypes and it will really be on the road in summer. And what we want to do in 25 onwards, really having a mass model with a lower price, which can be available for everyone. This is making clean, sustainable, clean mobility available for everyone. Yeah, so if you want to join our mission and have a look at the Lightyear car, this week we'll have several events, some exclusive ones which are on Invite, where we want to have the automotive ecosystem and investors coming. And we also have a public event in Port Bell, so I want to invite you all, and if you want some more information about that and really having a look at the car and the solar panels that we developed, come and see us there.
Yeah, we'll be in Port Bell, so if you want to come by and have a seat in the car, experience what it is to sit in the future of cars and in the solar car, then please let us know, and we'll make you for a spot on the guest list. Thank you for listening and thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. One last question. We're 8 years from 2030. That's the big tipping point where you're both students, are you? Or
No, we're working full time for Lightyear.
You're working full time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's
We,
cool.
we have started out at Lightyear with an internship for writing our master thesis, but that was 1.5 years ago. So now we are working full time already for quite some time at Lightyear.
Wow, good to hear.
Yeah.
And can you say something about what's going ahead in innovation? Because you said that there are some problems, some challenges, and you're
Yeah.
working on it.
Yes.
Is there a car on the market in 2030, or can we?
Yes, so the car that's for sale right now, we're producing maximum of 946 of them. They will cost 250,000, but as was shown in this slide, we want to move to a model that ensures clean mobility for everyone. So this model, the Lightyear 2, it will come out in 2025 and it will cost around 30,000 euros. We want to produce 100,000 of them per year. So with that, we really want to move to another era of mobility, and of course, things like autonomous driving are included. We focus on the connectivity part of the car, autopilots. The biggest part of our company is engineering and patents, intellectual property. So that's we develop almost everything in house. So
Wow, that's good to hear. And I think there are a lot of partners also here in the audience, so I'm very interested to talk and co-create. And thank you very much for being here.
Yes,
in your
thank you
very
for
busy
having me.
program, and everyone is invited to see you on March 3rd on the event. Okay.
Even we are trying to do video conferencing this week also. We try to make a live conversation this week. Later on, we have a video conference system with a car. So later on this week, we try to make a connection to you and have some questions when we are online. So great, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thanks.
it's also interesting to see how internationally things are going. This morning we had a presentation of Bridgestone, familiar of course with yours, and they especially were developing tires for your car because it's a totally different car, totally different method of traction, so it needs also another activity. So it's good to hear that companies like Bridgestone also accompany you to support this, so it's great. I think this is also something what we would like to connect to a message what we have from Sander Pellegrom. Sander Pellegrom is our national coordinator of the SDGs in Holland, and what she said, in fact, of what she's trying to say and what she will say, is that we have only 8 years to go. So this is typically an example of doing things, not smooth talking. So this is also what we have to do in technology and telecoms. We have to act, and that's also the credo of the United Nations now. We have to act, not to talk anymore. One moment. Sandra.
So a small introduction now to Sandra. Sandra Pellegrom, I think a lot of you already know her. She is coordinator of sustainability goals from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and working on the sustainability goals in the broader science. Oh, there she is.
Hoe is het nu?
Dat was Sandra Pellegrom. We zullen deze boodschap ook op onze website publiceren. Sorry, I have to change in English. She said. With an English undertitle. I think it's time for our last speaker, and I would say best for the last. And it's not, it's someone who is not only talking, but he's also doing. And very happy to introduce Martijn. Welcome from SNU. Okay, do you need, okay, here is, yeah. You got a microphone? Can put it in your jacket if you like to. So Martijn, can you tell us something about how it started, the whole story?
The whole story started when I discovered that the raw materials are phasing out. When an electronic product is being produced, 70% of the raw materials is disappearing, and that's scary. So I tried to solve to make the whole raw materials in the circular process, so they're not being spoiled and they're being used.
Yeah, and now you told me you started in the automobile, in the car industry.
That's correct, yes.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I was 8 years old, so it's a very long time.
Okay.
But if you make the comparing with the automobile industry, for the, let's say the gasoline car, the raw materials are being used for 95%, and here we are only reusing 30%. So we have a high target to make a goal also to the 95%.
Yeah, it's funny to realize actually that in the automobile industry a long time ago, it was kind of a circular,
it's a
small
common
circular
thing.
ecosystem already.
Yeah. And it's really
Okay.
good to do that.
Yeah.
But in the conductor industry is very exploring in innovation, and now we are seeing that the raw materials are phasing out. That's a real problem.
Yes, and now, where are you now? Because a lot of things happened in the meantime.
Yeah, true.
You have great ambitions.
Yeah, very great.
A lot of innovations and breakthrough to go. So can you give us a tip?
Yes, I can give you certainly a tip. It's about product lifecycle extension. We go now device as a service. Eventually that's lifecycle extension, product lifecycle extension. And we do that with old technology and new technology. We make a combination. For example, the telecoms make the transition to the cloud, but a lot of organizations still using PBX of hybrid solutions. So we are expert in the product lifecycle extension and try to make the combination between old technology and new technology. Have to have a seamless integration towards the new technology.
Yes, and you're in Barcelona now, here.
Yeah.
Do you have a message, a shout out to the audience and people who are walking by?
Yeah, let's not make services as the whole mission for life cycle extension. Everything as a service is, I think, the most important thing to do. And then we can save the raw materials so we have a future-proof world. I think that's very, very important.
And new business models also.
Yeah, we do that. And we make money with it, so that's no problem.
We're Dutch.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, do you have a last question?
Yeah, we're not only talking about mobile phones only, it's also all kind of technology, laptops,
it's the high-end routers, PBXs, special DEC phones, DEC base stations, name it. We can repair it, we can refurbish it, and we can install it.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
You also have the certificate now, so
yeah.
you have achieved an award or the first. You're the first in the kind, of course.
Yeah,
to do so.
we are a certified company of the European of the Common Goods. That's a certification that our business model is very durable and sustainable, and we follow many SDG goals.
Okay, great.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I think it's really a great example how if you're disruptive and turning the business model and see from another perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's all about eventually selling time. If I make a repair equipment, it's selling time. And if you have it as a service, I don't want to have a phone in position, but I want to use it.
Yeah.
So if I can secure the operation security or the sustainability, then it is a service I have to provide for the time I want to use it.
Yes. You're working with big companies?
Yes, we work for big operators like Proximus, KPN, Orange, railroad companies, KLM.
Okay.
Those are one of our customers.
That's nice. And what is next step?
Next step is SDG 17, chain cooperation. So we want to with the operators, resellers, and with recyclers make a combination of knowledge, so that we can close the loop, so that we can share knowledge and have also for circular design that products can be circular being used like the Fairphone.
I think that's a clear message, is it?
Yeah.
So find this guy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, no, it's
Thank
great.
you very
A lot to do, I think.
Yes,
And,
very.
I think a big challenge. So you're one of the partners who we have to achieve for the coming 8 years to achieve our goals. So
Exactly. Yeah.
let's do so. I think
Yes.
maybe we can wrap it up. I can say
That's a good idea.
maybe there's one thing that I want to address to on top of it. Where are we now? This the thing is, how can we achieve the goals? What can we do for ourselves?
Now let's
So,
say how to achieve the goals. Everything that's sustainable is a costly thing, but it can make money, because in 2030 the European government has said you are being punished if you're producing CO2. Our business model is reducing CO2, so it generates money.
Yeah.
So it's also an income for if you reduce CO2, you can have money, and if you produce CO2, so that's one. Secondly, durability is a chance, not a threat.
No.
People say that circular is for us a costly thing. No, it's for you. It is chain cooperation. If I combine forces, I have a good turnover. So it's a future-proof issue, I think.
Well, great.
You're welcome.
I think it's good. I think we wrap it up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to show
Thank
you
you very
something.
much
You're most
for
welcome.
contributing.
And thank you for
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
The last
Yes.
thing to address also for those goals is where are we now? And I think we have a good initiative, and in fact it's done by the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, does have a program which is called United for Smart and Sustainable City. And exactly we're looking at the SDG 9 and SDG 11 is what can we do? So what the program will do, they will do an inventory on
And
3
maybe
sectors.
SDG 9 and SDG 11. 11 is smart cities.
11 is smart cities and 9 is infrastructure. So what
Yeah.
we're talking about here is
Yeah.
SDG 9,
Yeah.
and of course SDG 11 is when are you smart?
Yeah.
So to see what how smart you will be, we provide cities to join the United Nations program, and we have KPIs to select on economy, environment, and society. We will lose 108 KPIs, and at the end we have a thermometer moment, and you can see now how do we score a city.
So
this
as
is
a
for
city,
example.
You, for example, I'm Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I reach out to you and say, okay, I want to know how smart I am.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly, that's what I say. If you said, yeah, I'm smart, yeah, how smart are you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to help you to join the United Nations program. We will do some validation on those topics. We will show you a diagram which is, for example, like this, and exactly you can see where you score green, or where you score yellow or red.
So you
And where
can
is red?
already smart in different areas, but in other areas, the red flags, you have to work very hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can choose. You cannot do everything at once. So you can choose your pick, and you can say, okay, let's see to become smarter, to smartest.
Yes.
Pick your topics, work that, and next year we do a validation again, and you can see what your progress will be.
Wow.
So this is the only UN program which you can calibrate what you're doing and where you are.
Yes.
So
So
just-
this is an international United Nations program.
Exactly. Can show you some countries. For example, the first Dutch country is Krimpen-IJssel, but now we have a lot of major cities to start with. For example, Amsterdam. So we're gonna expand it in the Netherlands now the coming months to get more Dutch cities
involved.
aboard. Exactly.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
the cities Dubai, Singapore, Moscow, Valencia,
Yeah,
they're already working with the program.
they're already done. So
Oh,
these days
okay.
already done. You can find it on the ITU, and you can actually see the score of them because you're
Okay.
in a public domain. So you can see how your scores are because it's necessary for your.
So we all can go on the internet researching on
Exactly.
smart.
I
Okay.
can share you, for example, the results of Krimpen-IJssel. So it's totally transparent. The city itself can have the option whether they want to publish or not.
Yeah.
Most cities will publish, and now we can compare Krimpen aan de IJssel, for example, with Dubai or Singapore, because we use the same KPIs.
Yeah.
So this is something I think it's very important to do. Also the commitment of the cities and governments, and of course how we will act on that on the telecoms industry. So this, I want to show you this because this is the background for us to participate.
And can you tell something about what is the position of entrepreneurs and companies in this? Can they support cities to be smarter?
Exactly, because if you have a score and you see that on some score it's not well, then it means it's up to the city to do. So if you are a company, we can have a triple helix. We can, with the universities and with the business, we can add on that. So we can join, we can work on that. Smart city, for example, we have a topic like we said, SDG return investment. So if we have a public tender to do, we can ask in the public tender to take a percentage away, and we will spend it to one of the 70 SDGs. So that means it doesn't cost money, but we can use this money to prepare everything.
Wow. If people are interested,
they can contact us. REAP is the organization who do the support for the onboarding progress of the cities.
Okay.
So, but when you're in the booth, you have questions, free, and we're willing to help, because I think this is a perfect solution that we have to do also in the telecoms industry. We have to put energy in the smart cities and in the infrastructure. So.
Yes. I think this was really a nice wrap-up, because it was all about future network impact.
Yeah, I think we try to make the connection between the technology sector and how we do with the SDGs, because no one can deny that we have to do something. Sustainability is something high in the picture at the moment. So
and I think also about people are always asking, how do I fit in the whole picture? What can I do?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we see the example like Lightyear. We see the example like SNU, who is doing this. So I think everybody can join, everybody can help. And that's what we have to do for the coming years. So
yes, and there's one thing. Tomorrow we were invited to a company visit of Capgemini, one of our partners. They are working on autonomous driving also, but it's the Mobility EU project.
Yeah.
I will shout out to everyone who's here and listening and seeing the video later on. If you're interested, then go with us to the company visits, because they are going to tell us all about the EU project. And Wednesday we have also 2 company visits.
Yeah, but at the moment I don't have it exactly in my mind.
Okay.
But just by the visit, we put it on the board, in front of the booth. We will have a diagram where we do the company visits.
Yeah,
so you can see where we're going to visit. Just have a look, stay around, and go with us. And let's get started.
And then at 5:30 today, we have our official opening by our Dutch ambassador here in Spain.
Yep.
And so we see you all back then. Have a drink from now, and thank you very much.